Now we are ready for the panel discussion. Here we go. Changes in educational ecologies. Now what are the discussion points? Ecology literacy, process of creating and understanding. Ecology factors affecting education. Importance of personal ecology in educational administration. Now I call upon the panelist. I call upon the moderator, 𝗖𝗍𝗍 sir, to come on to the stage. 𝗖𝗍𝗍 sir is an international school, that is KL International School, Merit and CBSE awardee and a city coordinator. We have Pallavi Mishra, who is the principal for 𝗟𝗏 International School, Bengaluru. Please come on the dais, sir. We request Pallavi Mishra ma'am to also join. We have Hema Narayan with us, who is the director, Sudarshan Vidya Mandir Institutions, Bengaluru. And you could see her very dynamic, right? She's non-stop, she's so active, everywhere she's been present. Well, we have Kim O. Noble, who is a principal of Tonbridge High School, Bengaluru. We request you to please come on the dais. We have Dr. Madhur Gupta, Dean and Director, St. Francis Business School, Bengaluru. Please join us. We have Ashwini Satish Pansare, Principal Bal Seva English Medium School from Pune. Please welcome on the dais. Now we have Dr. Rudra Hiremath, who is a Managing Director, Indian Public School, Bengaluru. And we have Anupama Ramachandra, Founder Principal, Delhi Public School, Electronic City, Bengaluru. And other dynamic lady here, who has been always so participative from morning. Now I would like to hand over the mic to the moderator. 𝗖𝗍𝗍 sir? Yes, the stage is all yours now.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I feel these 300 brains who are here, I do feel these are not only 300 brains, but 300 ideas, 300 suggestions. And more than that, we can talk to each other and solving out 300 problems. I do feel that way. With a small thought process, I'll start this session with my wonderful panelists. We had media studies in our school, and we have given them a small work, and we'll start the session with that. And some of the students made some cartoons, and they wanted to inform all the teachers, all the students. And please take it on a lighter note. Madan Gopal sir, please take it on a lighter note. They have written very critically that government, they want all the important celebrations and photographs on the website. School honors, they want profits. Principal, they want good result and good admissions. Teachers, they want 7th pay commission and silence in the classroom. Student, they want game spirit. So now the bigger question in front of all is, who is looking for education? Because in totality, the word education is never there. Starting from the top to bottom, students want game spirit, teachers want 7th pay commission and silence in the classroom, principal, then honors, then government. So question is, where is education and who is looking for education? So with this thought, I have my fellow panelists, and I'll start with the topic, the personal ecology. Let me tell you this terminology with, I do feel with, intelligence, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, it has come as a new line from Daniel Goleman, ecological intelligence. So with that, I start with with personal ecology, how it affects, and we all go through that starting from the day till evening and all the working hours. We set example through personal ecology. So sir will be taking the first part, personal ecology.
Check. Very good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. I am very happy to elaborate on this. Happy school from a happy administration. Happy school from a happy school administration. Because educational administration plays a very major role in day in and day out. From timetable to assembly until the last bell. So academics, it's only in between. But administration, school administration, takes whole day. If we have a school vehicles, then till the school bus reaches the destination. From students, parents, and teachers, all we have to look into. And educational administration enables to make the students to receive the right education at the right time from the right teachers. Here we can slightly do changes. We need quality education from the best teachers or experienced teachers. And that has to be given with happiness. Without that happiness, we cannot achieve anything. So right education is okay, anything, policies are there, syllabus is there, we can go ahead with that. But the major thing is the administration, school administration, and depends on the administrators. Maybe we all are here, we have gone through the COVID situations. What I feel is we have to look at the health of the administrators. Unless we are happy in the sense, completely happy with health, wealth, everything. If I am peaceful and if I am not having any worries, I can look after the school very well. So, all the school owners or the administrators should have something after corona effects. We should have, or all the administrators should have, health insurance. Unless we have very thorough, like whatever you do, whatever we earn, everything goes in a day or a month, then we are left with nothing. So building safety has to be taken with insurances. Even we are thinking of giving insurance to the students, then we will be very less. So finally, I can conclude myself, if all the administrators are cool on the head, with a cool head and a very supportive and smart working staff, then we will not have any worries and the school runs very well. And this will affect on the education. We can give a best education to the students. That's all I can say.
Nicely said, sir. Thank you very much. And I think we always talk about child-centered approach. Whenever, as an educator, whenever we talk and whenever we guide our teachers, we tell them that you must have a child-centered approach. I think for all the leaders, I think we should have a heart-centered approach. We always listen to our heart and think what is right, what is wrong. I have read somewhere there is a philosophy, Ubuntu philosophy. It says that it takes one village to raise up a child. So now, in the time when nuclear families are there, that philosophy is lost somewhere, and we find our child is going to school, coming back, and what he is learning, what is unlearning, we never know. So I request Madam to put a light on that, how a child gets into that ecology and fits into, and what we have to do more for him.
Is this on? Good afternoon. My colleagues on the dais, dignitaries in front of the dais. Your question was, how do we make children learn?
Yeah.
Well, that's a mystery. That has remained something that is ongoing. I come from the language background, so very quickly, I will approach this from the point of view of somebody who is still a learner of language. I find that I'm still confused, and the more I look at this problem or this issue of learning, one is faced with that conundrum of whether we are teaching to the test or whether we are teaching for children to understand. Is it for livelihood or is it for learning? We have, as a group, as a generation, as a world, been through a historic and a historical event. We have learned what seclusion, isolation can do. And we have learned that children have been probably the ones that have been caught in the crossfire. We have children now who've had to understand what a social implication of a school and a classroom is without ever having been in one. We have young children, 7 to 8 years old, who haven't stepped into a classroom and who are now told that they have to be in this classroom, learn, be evaluated, and make themselves, their school, and their parents proud. We also live in a generation that is talking about what is called a goldfish mentality. As a language student, I don't know if there are anybody here who are also language students, a group of goldfish is called a troubling of goldfish. A group of crows is called a murder of crows. A group of goldfish is called a troubling of goldfish. And the reason I refer to us as the troubling of goldfish is because goldfish have a very short attention span. And we as a generation have now learned that we have immediate gratification if this short attention span is applied digitally. You have 900 likes, 10,000 followers, and you believe somehow individually you are successful. But what does it mean to be successful for a group, within a group, and to a future that we still can't envisage? We are treating to a generation of students who will have to manage a future that we don't know will be as what we now live in or confront. We may use green rhetoric, we may greenwash, we may talk about ecology, we may talk about ecological learning. Like Sir said, a happy mind and heart, a healthy insurance. I recently got my health insurance, so I understand how expensive it is and how important it is. But to teach a generation of children who are now rehabilitating themselves to what we understand as a school and a classroom is going to be the idea that we need to deal with as a living example. We learn from every day. History as we speak is being changed. Just rewording interpretations is not going to help children learn. Just creating platforms for them to learn through is not going to help them understand. So I believe the best way to make children understand is through living, through experience, being with them, creating a situation that we understand is environment, and that is from a human system to another human system. You create an environment where you allow the children to learn by setting an example of what you believe is learning. It may not be through words. When you say ecology is a subject, you immediately create an environment where you're thinking of is this something that I'm going to be quizzed at on the examination paper? And if you get the definition of ecology right, do I get 5 marks? Do I then understand what personal ecology is? Do I understand that what I believe are values that I should also determine on the outside? So for a child to understand this, I believe we, as people who are on the periphery of being facilitators, we need for them to understand that behavior is what creates this environment. And that behavior is something that one needs to lead by behaving in the manner that we want these children to understand and learn from. What kind of material do we use in our school? What kind of textbooks do we have? I'm talking about not the content, the kind of textbook. Is there plastic in our school? Do we have the kind of segregation that we want of waste in our school? Do we have animals in our school? Do we have greenery, however limited may be the space in our school? Do we make a child understand from a single child family that to care for another living thing, it could be a plant, it could be an animal, is what makes environment possible? Are we going to wallow in the debris of what we have now discovered is our life? Or are we going to leave children with the idea that as they live, they create? We can't ask them to revisit a history that they haven't participated in. We can't teach to a future that we still don't know about, but we can definitely teach to the present. And the present is something that we understand as precious. There is an old song by a singer called Joni Mitchell, where she says, "We paved paradise to create a parking lot." And I'm afraid that is what we're doing. We don't know what we have until we lose it. So let's not create a museum where there's going to be fish and trees and then tell children, these things used to exist, you know, some time ago. We need to become from a troubling of goldfish to something that is beautiful, something that is more demanding, something that is more present. And our rhetoric should be something between the pages of a book. Our words should not be metaphors. Our words should be something that explain and give life. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the generation and this Corona time period, we have moved from pen to pen drive. We have moved from blackboard to whiteboard. So the journey, whiteboard, smartboard, you know, I do feel sometime that what as teacher we have more than our students. Because we always talk about knowledge, information and wisdom. If we talk about information, they have better information. If we think we have a book and we are teaching them the syllabus, Google has more than that and they are more empowered to do that. So question is, there is a phrase we always say, the teachers of yesterday are teaching the students of today and preparing them for tomorrow. So as teachers of yesterday, preparing the students of today and preparing them for tomorrow. And then we do find, sometimes we do ask a question. We teach them a syllabi, but they have better information, they have better knowledge. I remember if you ask a student, you know French, and he will take out his mobile and, you know, plan out and, you know, tell you within a second, yes, I know these words. So I do feel knowledge is here, maybe information is in pocket. He will take out a mobile and inform everything. You know, there is a small anecdote I remember. A kindergarten student was interviewed in one of the school and he was asked, you know, by showing some, you know, apple, what is this? And she never answered. And then she was asked, what is this? You know, few things which we keep in kindergarten and we ask them. And you know, the parents went outside and they howled over the child, you know each and everything, but you never answered. She says, I don't want to go to a school where the child is asking me, where the teacher is asking me all the things and she don't know. I don't want to go to a school where a teacher is asking me all these things. She should know all these things, you know, herself. So, you know, they have, you know, a different thought process. Thank you, madam, for putting, you know, in a very different way. I remember one cartoon which was there, you know, in Google sometime, you please see it. 1960s, principal, there is a chair of principal, and parents are standing, mother and father, they are standing with principal. And see 19 or 2000, you find the child, parent, and mother and father, they are standing and they are shouting on principal. You know, there is a photograph, please see it. So, you know, we need, parent is an important part of this ecology. So my question will be, to my panelists, will be how we educate parents. I have coined this term, educate the parents. Because after Corona, COVID times, I think we need to educate parents how to treat school. It's a very different thing, and we have to come together as educationists, we have to guide, inform our parents that how to treat the school. So please, any points you have?
A very warm good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, and it's a very interesting discussion, how schools need to treat parents, and I'm on the both side, a parent as well as into the educational leadership as well. So first of all, parents are also well educated in today's era. So if I'm talking about ecology and the balance and the harmony, so school need to take care how much they are getting their students involved with parents. Most of the time, what students are doing, parents have no idea. Teachers know much better than a child than their own parents. In fact, the small habits, their attitude, what nonsense things they are talking about, what good things they are learning about. So I feel the first thing what schools or educational institutions can do, there should be a lot of case studies, there should be a lot of projects where both the parents should be involved with students. There should be marketing projects, shopping projects we can give. Let them go to a mall or anywhere they would like to enjoy, or even on a holiday. Let them make a project together, have a lot of family pictures. So parents should be bring back to the child's life. Now a lot of parents and a single child, so parents are easily get away with giving some few gadgets to children, and children are all alone. So how much quality time a parent is giving to the child is much more important. Even if a mother is a homemaker, still how much quality time that mother is spending with the child is very important. And I feel, there should not be a barrier like school and a home and a child. It should be all one. And there should be a lot of open discussion in the schools. Usually parents visit school in the meeting days or the parent meeting days. So there should be much more coffee meets or tea meets in the school where parents should be called, not only when the child has done some nuisance, but or the child is getting an award, but on the regular days as well. So make a part, is a family, because I do feel there's a huge gap between school and a parent, and when a child informs her or his parents, you've been called in the school, first reaction, what you have done. So that should not be there. Another very important aspect, instead of giving homework, there should be a lot of oral projects where children should learn from their parents. Basically, history is one subject where we can involve ecology from the parents. What happened at their time, a lot of things parents can teach through their experience, which brings a big balance between a child's life. Also, parents should learn how to reduce the expectations from the school, because a lot of parents have this mindset, we are paying huge fees. Now, our child is the whole and sole responsibility of the school teachers, and they can transform the child into any kind of human they are expecting. And many parents are also burdening children what they have not achieved in their life. Let my child will do. Now, 2 parents and 1 child, the child is doubled with the expectation. Mother also have a lot of expectation, and the father also. Sometimes grandparents also have their own unfulfilled wishes, which now the only child will fulfill. So this, again, we need to understand, a child is a child. We cannot push a child beyond certain boundaries, and we are not supposed to be. Ecology teaches us everybody finds a good balance in this society and environment. So let us not expect too high from anyone, either from the child or from the school or from the teachers, because everybody is doing their best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. The next is the family. And I think in Murphy's Law it is written, we agree to disagree, but we live together. So that is what family somewhat in a way. Madam, the role of family, sir and madam both, you know, will take up role of the family in the ecology. Yeah.
Yes, very good afternoon, all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Time2Grow for giving me the wonderful opportunity to speak my views or to share my views about changes in education. See, before few minutes, our dignitaries told that education is not like a business, but nowadays, after pandemic, parents' expectations are continuously goes on increasing. But we know that like a basic need, food and water. So in education system also, family is the first pillar, then teachers, then peers, and then para-professionals, okay? So nowadays parents' expectations continuously goes on increasing because they are expecting that if we are paying this much amount of fees, then why children are not concentrating in studies? Because nowadays in 24/7 Google's in their hand, mobiles are there in hand. But see, everything is depend on family first, because in 24 hours students are in school only for 5 to 6 hours, but after that they are in with family. And the major problem nowadays we are facing that the nuclear family. Both parents are working, they are not looking towards their child, but their expectations are more, and the study, new technologies, methodologies, everything goes on changing day by day. Even we are also facing challenges because of changes in technology, changes in every day new and new we are looking. So ecological literacy means, like I told you, the basic needs. So numeracy, literacy, at the same time ecology is also the important thing for developing a student progress, for educating the child. So as per my knowledge, what I feel, surrounding as well as environment, the personal knowledge is also important. Swami Vivekananda said that education is the manifestation of perfection already in a man. So even if teachers are continuously try to push the child for betterment and development, but whatever the inbuilt, they are need to face to students only. Because if the numeracy literacy stage is developed in a foundational stage, because foundational stage is completely developing stage. And after that, in the preparatory stage, students can learn, relearn, unlearn. But if the foundational stage is not developed, the child cannot grasp the proper knowledge grade-wise. So in ecological literacy, which are the factors affecting on that? Overall factors like encouragement, rewardness. Because nowadays what we are observed now, if particular child is not able to concentrating in a class, and in a 40 students class, if only 5 to 10 students are completely concentrating towards what they are teaching, but 30 students are continuously disturbing. So that 30 students, teachers need to give rewards. Means standard students and brilliant students who can, teachers can teach. But if the student is weak, then we have to concentrate that weak students. What are the problems? What exactly the need for that students? We need to focus on that only. So automatically will get an idea about the student's progress and we can implement accordingly. So, thank you.
Sir, again, I'll request you to add on something. The role of family is very important in the ecology. So how the family plays that role?
Ask me a question like that. I think ma'am covered it all, and if it's a multiple choice question, I would say all of the above. Okay. But since you give me this forum, if, with your permission, may I touch upon some of the points that we have discussed
Please,
today, especially with eco-literacy. First, I have a bone to pick with you. I do take umbrage at your opening remark that kids want game spirits, right? And I would say, why not? Okay, because most of education does happen on the games field more than in the classroom. Okay, that's where characters built, teams are built, communication, leadership, and I wouldn't be on the stage if it wasn't for all the classes I bunked to be on the games period at that point of time. But sir, I think when you talk about family and the role over here, okay, we want to change the world, right? We talk about how the world is spinning too fast. But before we change the world, we have to change our nation. Before we change the nation, we have to change society. Before that, it starts with our home and our families and our home and our individual personal space. Since you touched upon our personal ecology, if I may I ask a very burning and really get personal with our audience over here, with all of us over here. Okay, with your permission, everyone, I'm going to throw a question at you, right? And this is it. Did you receive your salary for last month? Most of us are salaried people, or we have a monthly income, right? Did you pay your domestic help at the end of the month? All right. Now, what would have happened if at the end of the month, the bank had an error and didn't transmit your salary? You'd go mad. You'd call up the bank and say, hey, what's happened? What would have happened if when you did Google Pay to your domestic help and she said, you know, ma'am, it didn't come through? Fine, then you would understand what the problem is. They say, hey, give me a day, whatever, I'll sort it out, don't worry. If I have cash, I'll give it to you. And you do that. Okay, you'd empathize. What happens if on the same day, a honeybee, couldn't pull out nectar from a flower, couldn't pollinate, or make honey or couldn't find its way back to the hive? Who cares, right? But what if on that particular day, 8 days ago from today, today is the 6th of August, 8 days ago on the 29th of July, probably the same day that your salary was being credited, what if you heard that the earth spun a little faster than it has ever done?
1.5 milliseconds.
Say that again, ma'am.
1.5 milliseconds fast.
Exactly. 1.59 milliseconds. How much is a millisecond? 1,000th of a second. Doesn't make a difference to us. But if you look at the magnitude of things, of the Earth spinning 1.59 milliseconds faster than it has ever done in history, it is something very alarming. Okay? And the reason is that scientists are finding out why. And they detected this way back in 2014, that the Earth has started spinning a little faster. It happened again in 2020, not because of the NEP, but happened again in 2020. And again, 8 days ago, it spun faster. What could this mean? What does this mean? It means if this Earth keeps spinning faster and faster, it would mean we would lose our GPS, our navigation, into the internet, which is calculated milliseconds, would crash. Birds and bees would not be able to migrate, and bees wouldn't get honey. It affects us when we know, okay, that because of a millisecond, there will not be an internet transaction of our salaries going to the bank. But the same thing doesn't affect us when a bee doesn't collect honey or make honey for that. This, they say, has happened because of perhaps the melting of the polar ice caps due to global warming. Right now, it's difficult for us to imagine global warming in this frozen room right here. Okay, it's a cold day in Bangalore, but the world has been getting hotter. Almost as hot as our kids' ICSE and CBSE marks these days and Instagram accounts. Yeah, they're scoring in Fahrenheit, we scored in centigrade back then. But to get back to a serious point, what if you parked your car on a hill, on a slope on a hill, and you stepped out forgetting to put the handbrake on, right? And you realize that the car is beginning to roll. You rush back to your car, dive in, and step on the brake. But what would happen if the car began to roll faster and faster and you couldn't stop it and it reached a point of no return? This is where the world is spinning right now. Okay? Now, when it affects us personally, our eco-literacy, it affects us with our salaries, we get mad. It affects our maid, we are empathetic. When it affects a honeybee, we don't care. Why? Because we are more ego-literate than eco-literate. And as educators, we must first educate ourselves with ecological literacy. I would like to conclude by how we began. Our lovely host in pink asked us right in the beginning to close our eyes and think of a key. And some of us have thought of big keys and small keys and medium keys, and I thought of a golden key, which is ornate and big and all that. And she said, but that's our ego. Well, it's not the size of the key that matters, it's the size of the door it opens that matters. And all of us here, no matter how big or small our key is, can open very large doors. Doors to eco-literacy in our schools. And this is a forum where we open these doors and we look into each other's doors. It's a time to look inside, time to learn, and indeed, a time to grow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And perhaps our last panelist, Madam, something on personal ecology which you follow for yourself and for your organization. And we request you to be elaborate.
Oh no, I'm the last speaker once again. Never a pleasant proposition, right? So we are all talking about ecological literacy and how it matters the person, how it matters to the organization. And the moderator has told me to keep it as brief as possible. Well, I believe, when I looked up, I was quite taken up by this topic that was given to me, ecological literacy. And when I looked up on the internet, there is a definition which says that ecological literacy is the ability to identify and understand living and non-living factors in the ecosystem. That's what it says. Well, I have a huge problem with this definition because they have not added one very critical word. And I would like to add that and present it in front of you so that as educators, you also will be empathetic to how I'm feeling. It says that ecological literacy is the ability to identify and understand the living and non-living factors in the ecosystem. I would like to rephrase it and say that ecological literacy is the ability to identify and understand and manage. We never speak to students about managing these factors. We keep telling them about how the global warming is affecting us and how, if we litter, we have to face the consequences. Why it is raining so badly in Bangalore in the month of August. But we never tell them what is the contribution of theirs which has resulted in this and what they can do as individuals to bring about a difference. So what we follow in our school is, together with all the data that we love to share and the theory, we like to also tell them that what are the little things that they can do to change the ecology of not only the school, but the community at large. So we have to make it a practice for them to how they can save or optimize the resources we have so that probably a neighboring government school can use those resources. So we start off by like a small practices, like at the end of the year, we ask the students to bring in all their unused notebooks, the stationery items we have. We collect it, and what is still good to be used, we donate it to children of other schools in the neighborhood who probably do not have access to these resources. We also teach them that a simple act of switching off the lights and fans when they're leaving rooms can have a major impact on the energy crisis that we are facing. We tell them that if they are able to take care of their uniforms for a little longer, there is some other child somewhere in some part of the world who can wear a set of uniform. So these are the points on which we have to sensitize children, which we do. And as an organization also, we have to be responsible. Preaching is something that we love to do. We love to keep blaming the parents that they're expecting so much from the school. Just to be a devil's advocate, what is wrong in a parent expecting that we change the child that they send to school? Isn't that what educational institutions should be all about? We say that the child is spending only 6 hours, but let us all remind ourselves that these are the most productive 6 hours that the child has in his or her life. The child gets up, gets ready, and comes to school. By the time the child goes, most of the energy is gone. So if the child is with us in the most productive phase of the day, isn't it our duty as a school, as an educator, to put in all the right values so that we can bring about the change that we want to see in the world? Instead of blaming somebody else, I think it would be more productive and also positive to take what we get, that is the raw material we have, and just see how best we can as educators put in our best foot forward and see how we can change the thinking of a child so that there is both personal ecological conservation and, of course, the ripple effect is that there is good to the school, there's good to the community, and there is good to the world at large. On that positive note, I would like to stop this because there is a constraint of time. Thank you very much, Time2Grow, for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much to all the fellow panelists. Thank you, Time2Grow, for arranging this wonderful workshop. Thank you, CEO Mr. Manmeet Khurana, for bringing 300 minds together to plan, to think, to meet, to interact. And thank you very much for being a lovely audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think to sum up with this discussion, we have just come up with the teacher-centric approach, student-centric approach, and of course, a cooperative learning from the parent side. That is what is expected, right? ಹಲವಾರು ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿಸುವ ಸೇತುವೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೇನಾದರೂ ಆದರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So that is what I think ma'am also told, what is the concern the parents have and how what concern has an educationalist we have. Of course, that's the bridging the gap between both. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful and informative session for all of us. Thank you, ma'am. Now I call upon Bhavik Khurana sir to be here, and of course Manmeet Khurana sir, we're going to felicitate. I've got stuck up with that word, I don't know why. So I thought I'll change the name and say honor. That's better to be safe. Yes. Sudhanshu Shekhar sir, please come forward. Yeah. Now we have Pallavi Mishra ma'am. Please come forward. Oh, sorry. We have Hema Narayan ma'am here. Dr. Madhura Gupta. Ashwini Satish Pansare. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Dr. Rudraya Hiremath. We have Anupama Ramachandran. Now, now I call upon Kimono Noble.